What's up, guys? This is Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm here today at BMW in Wesley Chapel to bring you this brand new 2021 BMW X7 40i xDrive. Now, they have discontinued the xDrive 50i, so for 2021, you get this model, or you can get an X7 M50i, which is your 4.4-liter V8 twin-turbo engine, or you can get your Alpina XB7, and that one's your 4.4-liter V8 bi-turbo engine. MSRP starts at $74,900. The vehicle we have today is at $85,095. Now, this vehicle has your inline-6 twin-power turbo, 335 horsepower. They now have added a hybrid electric motor to the vehicle. It doesn't necessarily help with your EPA. However, you're still getting 330 pound-feet of torque, matted to a Z8 8-speed automatic transmission. This vehicle ranges in your 0 to 60 from as low as 4 seconds to 5.8 seconds. We're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. Before we get to the styling of this BMW X7, let's talk about what twin-power turbo means to bi-turbo to twin-turbo. Twin-power turbo, also known as twin-scroll turbo, is a single turbo powered by pairs of cylinder with alternating sequences from 2 exhaust down tubes. Advantages to this is it's a smaller design, so it fits in the engine bay very good, decrease in that turbo lag, increase in top end performance, better gas consumption, and increase in torque. Twin turbo and bi-turbo. Now, these are two different worlds per se, because a twin turbo is typically when they're next to each other. Twin kind of makes it easy for you to understand on that. Bi-turbo is when they are on the opposite sides of the engine bank, typically in a V8, which compresses the intake of air and fuel mixture. There are a few different layouts that you can do to do a setup. The advantage of this is it helps reduce the turbo lag, high performance across the entire RPM, and then you also get a significant power increase. The downside is it's very heavy. It takes a significant amount of space underneath the hood of the vehicle, and it's also higher maintenance costs. Why did BMW choose a twin-power turbo? Well, this has actually been used in engines dated back to 2011 with your BMW X1 xDrive 28i. They actually replaced the inline-6 engine with the inline-4 engine, and they did this to achieve better gas consumption, and they also got a better CO2 emissions in the vehicle. The height of this vehicle sits at 71.1 inches, so it does set a little bit higher, but this is the biggest vehicle that BMW makes. Your width at 78.7 inches. You still get the kidney grille. I like how it's integrated. It's all functional vents as well. The halo lights with the LED around it as well. It just represents it really nice. And because it's such a big vehicle, it really looks very meaty from the interior or from anybody's actual rear view mirror. They also have these side curtains here for more air intake in the vehicle. So they just do a fantastic job with the way they've actually structured it. I also like how this same bumper is on the actual BMW Alpina XB7, so you're getting a bumper that's basically double the price of this vehicle, because that vehicle starts nearly at $140,000, and this one starts in the $70,000 range. Now, you're not getting the M-Spec bumper. That would make it a little bit more wider and aggressive. However, I think it does look really nice, and it does kind of flare out a little bit here. The actual lines, the way they kind of swoop over, it just gives a nice aerodynamic presence in this BMW X7. Now, the length of this BMW is at 203.3 inches with the wheelbase at 122.2 inches. This is set with 21-inch wheels. They have run flat tires set to them, standard 2-axle air suspension, which typically costs about $1,300. Standard remote start to the vehicle. On your key fob, as you can see, for this BMW X7. You'll also get standard adaptive blind spot detection, frontal collision, lane departure warning, all included in the vehicle. Some of the side that I really do like how they've done, the actual chrome, I think it does set a nice little touch to it because it gives a little bit of a luxury flair to the vehicle because this one's not as sport derived as your M. I don't necessarily like this fake vent, but it does actually look good encasing on the side, and it just kind of makes the rear flare in and the actual front kind of flare out, all in this style that they have chosen for this BMW X7. The rear of this BMW X7 40i, I think it looks pretty good. I do like how they give kind of a luxury look. If you get the shadow trims, this would get more of a darkened out look. Again, the actual front and rear bumper will be the same as the Alpina, which is actually a really nice pop. It's not going to be as aggressive as your M Sport bumpers, but it does make a nice pop. Dual exhaust, they're actually a little bit tucked inside the housing, which is something that I always knock on. LED tail lights inside, going into your cargo at 12.8 cubic feet, with the third row down to 48.6 cubic feet, putting all the rows down at 90.4 cubic feet. Also, what they have done is they added this lower tailgate, which is also power as well, which is pretty nice because you could kind of sit here for any tailgate parties or anything of that nature. Towing capacity is at 5,400 pounds, maxing to 5,950 in this vehicle. You can also move or adjust the actual second and third row seats in the trunk with a 12-volt charger. With the suspension that's on this particular vehicle, you can actually lower it or raise it to however you actually prefer, either in your dynamic driving or your comfort setting in the vehicle. They do offer a dark shadow edition. Unfortunately for 2021, that model is completely sold out, so you won't be able to actually touch that vehicle unless you get it pre-owned. However, you do have the capabilities to go on BMW on the website, sign up for it, and maybe have the opportunity to get the 2022 model. There's really no point of going over the specs because you can't actually purchase the particular vehicle. Let me know in the comments what you think about this BMW X7 40i for the exterior as we get ready to go into the interior and then take this for our drive. Inside this SAV, which is a sports activity vehicle, you're going to have a lot of space, starting off with 41.9 inches of headspace, 39.8 inches of leg space. Wireless charger, two cup holders here in the center. This wood throughout just sets it apart. I think it looks really nice because it's real wood inlays as well, so it's not plastic or anything of that nature. So you're getting your money's worth. This vehicle has your upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, your heads-up display, two 12.3 information screen, one for your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and anything else that you need to do for your connectivities for this vehicle. It also has your Sirius XM radio in it. Your driver cluster is also digital readout at 12.3. You can also see your actual navigation in between, where your tachometer on the right, your odometer on the left, leather wrapped steering wheel that is heated with the paddle shifters, multi-function. This one has your adaptive cruise control. This one also has heated front seats. This is a 16-way power adjustment for the front seats, 4-way lumbar support with memory seats for the front. This one doesn't have the ventilated or the massage seats. However, you do get the panoramic sunroof, which is standard. You can opt for the panoramic sky lounge LED roof, which would put lights all around it. And this is a pretty huge headliner. On the door panels, I actually like how they give you the ability to move or adjust the actual rear seats. So if you have people in the third row, someone's complaining, you can move them up from the actual driver's seat. You also have soft touch textures throughout. You have plenty of storage in the door panels. You got some more storage inside here with a USB-C, another USB, and a 12-volt charger with two cup holders, 4 climate control settings, and it's also a digital readout here as well, which gives a nice little pop inside this vehicle. The second row of this SAV is going to be at 39.9 inches of headspace, 37.6 inches of leg space, which is quite a bit for a second row. This is the captain chair package. Otherwise, you can opt for a bench here, and it would be a 7-seater. So this is a 6-seater. These are electric seats, and they do move back and forth, so you can slide it either forward or you can slide it back to give you more leg space. However, you have a substantial amount. You can also recline these seats. As I'm doing so, you do have a USB-C port behind the front seats. You also have a little area here where you can tack on anything like an iPad or kind of a holder for your clothes. Your dual climate control settings, heated seats in the back. You also get some cup holders with the X7 badging, 12-volt charger, 2 more USB-C ports, a little storage area here that you can put your cell phone or whatever that, you know, floats your boat. You can also take these sunshades down electronically. You can also close the panoramic sunroof or the actual back moonroof from the actual buttons on the second row, which is also kind of nice. These are soft touch textures on the door panels. It's a leatherette upholstery, plenty of storage space in the second row as we enter into the third row. Entering into the third row, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than I would have imagined, considering I'm 6'3". However, I do like how the actual seat kind of keeps moving to make it a little bit easier. There's just no actual arm holders except for this little area here. So you got to kind of use like a interesting way to get inside to this third row. In the third row of this SAV, you're getting 36.6 inches of headspace at 33.3 inches of leg space. At 6'3", you're going to be relatively no problems fitting two back here. If you pick the captain seats in the front, it's going to make it actually a little bit more optimal because you can stretch your legs out. You do have actual USB ports here on the side. It's a little bit hard to get to at first, but just move around, you can get to it. You do have your air vents here and your actual climate control here as well. This vehicle also has your heated seats in the third row. Now we're going to go behind the wheel and take this X7 out for our test run. So right off the bat, what I do like, this air suspension, you just glide over everything. Everything is dual pane windows, so it is super quiet. We're going to actually put a decimal reading on the vehicle, so that way we can actually see how quiet this vehicle really is in the cabin. But I'm suspecting it's going to be pretty good. So we're going to just kind of leave that right there and drive as it is. It's already reading around 73, 74 decimals. Heads up display in the vehicle I like also because it shows you your actual speed limit as well. So it's really nice. If you go over the speed limit, it actually turns red. So it gives you that nice look to let you know, hey, you're going a little bit too fast. The actual adjustments in the seat, there is so many adjustments that you can literally sit here for a long time to actually make it to any preference that you would like. They also have given an opportunity for BMW owners, if you want, you can opt for things to actually make the cabin created however you like. So we're going to give it a little go now. So to give it some gas, she rides really good. You get up to speed really quick. So when you give it full throttle, this thing just maneuvers well. It doesn't feel as big as it is. When you put it into sport mode, it actually lowers the suspension and it's gonna make it a little bit more stiff and aggressive. Put it in dynamic, give it some throttle, gets up to gear really nice. You get a nice exhaust note as well. So honestly, I've not driven the V8 4.4 liter, so I can't necessarily say, oh, this is the best, but it does have a sufficient amount of power for a 6 or 7 seater vehicle. I wish this model did have the ventilated seats and the massage seats. It does have the gesture swipe feature, which if you do that over the infotainment, it actually kind of engages and lets you know, hey, I'm ready for you. So that's also nice. And the way they've pivoted this infotainment screen is also really good because literally, as you're seeing on the other camera, like my hand can touch all of it. So it's really nice. Pinch gestures, you can also swipe, you can click into your home, you can change any of the dynamics, or you can just leave it on your navigation. Now we're gonna give it a little bit of a go again. The really fun thing about this particular vehicle is people don't necessarily think you can actually get that speed and torque out of this big of a machine, and that's actually what is so brilliant about what BMW has done on this X7. I will say for blind spots, it does get a little bit difficult behind the second row. Can't really see behind the third row in the vehicle, so you will be using your blind spot sensors in the vehicle, which do come standard, so that's also a nice little pop. The actual quietness in the cabin, let's actually see what it reads on this dB reading here. And we're staying around the 75 to 80 reading. It also has the lane keep assist, which if you start hitting the line, it actually pushes you and actually vibrates the steering wheel. So you do have some nice little safety features that pop. Now checking the turn radius in this vehicle, and this is a complete U-turn, so I would say you would get probably in about 2 lanes in the vehicle. We're gonna stop in the middle of the road and give it some go here to see how good she goes. Off the line, red, oh yeah, she flows effortlessly. And the good thing about this vehicle is the brakes are also really good in the vehicle. So you have full capabilities of speed, luxury, and you have the safety all in this BMW X7. We're going to take this back to BMW of Wesley Chapel and go over that 360-degree reverse camera and wrap this review up. You do have your automatic parking, which will do basically a mimic of what you actually did in the vehicle. So it's like a park assist, which you would just kind of click on it. And now if you look, The vehicle will actually turn and do everything for you. All you have to do is actually hit the brake, and it'll do it to the same distance in which you actually engaged it whenever you push the parking assist. I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2021 BMW X7 xDrive 40i all-wheel drive for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click in the description, check out the merchandise and details and everything we do here. Hawkeye rocks.